All right, here we are. We've completed most of the project here, and I just kind of want to walk you through what we've done to date here. If you want to pan up there, you can see two brand new skylights in, and you can tell they're new because somebody forgot to take the stickers off on the inside. Actually, you can see right around the edge of the skylight trim itself, it's got to be recaulked. And then the inside of those openings will have to be repainted, stain block from the one stain up there, and then they'll be repainted, and that will pretty much finish those off. The great thing was the Velux skylight has not really changed as far as the actual design of the skylight. Still goes in the same way. The drywall fit right into where the existing skylight was. It used to be that you'd install a skylight in a new construction, and then you'd have these open framed areas, and you would tuck the drywall right up in this slot in the skylight frame itself. And of course, when we pulled the skylights out, you could see there was drywall actually sticking up, and we wanted, hopefully, to be able to tuck that drywall right back down in, and luckily enough, we were able to make it work. These skylights are vastly superior to what the skylights that were up there before. They were Veluxes, they were an identical match as far as the dimensions of them. But now this is like a triple guarantee leak-proof seal on here, so we should never see any problems with these skylights ever again. That's all we did out here. Of course, we vacuumed up, got our plastic pulled up, and now the painter just has to come in and do his thing, and he'll be all tidied up here. And then I want to bring you into the master bath area, and I want to show you what's been completed here. This is a brand new Andersen casement window, and of course we showed you this from the outside. This has all been installed now, insulated, it's been caulked on the outside, and now you can see the trim has been reinstalled. And this was an interesting, it's something that's interesting about these windows is all windows have standard sizes, and most window manufacturers make windows to standard sizes. Andersen is no exception. They make standard size windows for our use as builders to be able to replace existing windows. What's interesting about this house in particular is the windows, none of the windows are exactly the same size, in that there's sections of the house that have windows that look like they're about the same size, but they're actually not. And what may have happened is there was an original area of the house, and then there was a renovated area of the house, which I happen to know that that's what it is on this house. But we're just going to say that just in general, if I was a builder and I didn't know, I would look at this and I'd say, okay, well, this was a custom window, custom size window, or it was some size that they were blowing out and they offered it to the builder for a discount or something like that. The original windows that were in here, of course I mentioned earlier, is a brand that no longer exists. So you can't match the brand exactly. There's just no way to do it. So what the client opted to go with was an upgrade to an Andersen, and I believe this is a Series 200 window. This is an awesome window. I'm going to show you what I love about this window. This window is basically a one-finger operation. That's unlocked. Andersen has come up with so many great ideas. Down in the area that we live in, we use plantation shutters a lot. And when we use plantation shutters, we don't like having cranks in the way. All they do is get in the way. They break things when you try to close a plantation shutter. These cranks stay right out of the way. This is the best idea they ever come up with. And you can actually buy these aftermarket, but now Andersen is making them standard on their windows. They realize that when they ship windows to our area, we builders here and clients here happen to like this swing away handle. So this window opens to just about 80 degrees, 75, 80 degrees, and that's it. And it's really just an effortless operation. They just make a great product. I'm really happy with their products. We use a lot of different windows. And it's even got a little detent here where the tip of that handle goes. And that's it. Screens, very easy, again, lock down. Screens are easy in, easy out. You can see you just tilt them and pull the screen out. And you can see this window actually had a film on it. and we were able to just remove the film, and it looks like we did a great job cleaning the window. And that's a nice little added bonus for the builder as well. One thing to be aware of when you use when there's a film on the window, you know, the film itself can create static electricity. So you don't want to be smoking or having any kind of solvents around when you remove that, because of course you wouldn't be smoking and having solvents around anyway, but you wouldn't want to have those solvents around. Anything that's flammable when you're pulling that film off, because that film being pulled off creates just a ton of static electricity, and there's always a chance that something could ignite. So a little safety tip there, don't cross the streams. So you can see we've gotten this back to where it was. Now we've got, you know, some holes in the trim where that have to be filled. The trim needs to be repainted. The jambs have to be painted. This is actually a finished paint, and it's an oil base, so they can just add another coat to it. They can go back at either latex or oil, whatever they choose. It doesn't matter. You can actually use latex over top of oil. You just can't go the opposite way. You can't use a latex primer, which is actually flexible, and then use an oil-based finish over top of it. It'll actually just crack the oil base when the latex flexes. Just want to show you something real quick down bottom here. Once again, this window comes in standard sizes, and as such, you can get these made custom. They're extremely expensive, sometimes costing twice as much as a similar window that is a standard size, an in-stock size. And so we opted not to go with the double cost, obviously. This window actually matches the size of the windows that are in the bedroom here. And it doesn't match the height of the window that's in the bathroom. So now all of these casements along here all match in size. This matching those windows there. And what that did is this raised this sill up just a little bit. The other issue was the old window was not a tempered window. And whether it was missed in the inspection or it just wasn't necessary at the time because we weren't following international code, that window would have had to have been tempered because it was too close to a door. Doesn't matter if it's a pocket door or a swing door, it's still too close to a door opening, and it would have had to be tempered. And with its proximity to the floor, it also would have had to be tempered in that case. So we opted to go with the window that would allow us to be the correct distance from the floor, to not have to be tempered, thereby costing us less, and not going with a custom window that would have cost much more. And the lead time on custom windows could have been as much as 12 to 15 weeks. So we could have waited 2 to 3 months for a window like this to come in a custom size. So this was a great trade-off, and the only thing it cost us to have to do, which was not really that big a deal, is you can see there's a dark spot here, and this is where I just mudded along here. I just added some drywall, and now the painter will come in and he'll do a second or third coat, and then he will just repaint this whole wall along here. And of course he's got to paint his trim anyway, so he'll be right here doing that. And as they say, well, as long as you're here, you might as well do it, right? So that's all he's got left to do, and that'll be all finished up and looking nice. And next we'll run outside. We'll just take a quick look at the finished trim on everything. I want to show you the finished window installed before we actually put the trim on, so you can kind of see how we seal everything up. Okay, well, we're ready to finalize the exterior of the window here. And the big difference in this window and the rest of the windows in the house now is this window does not rely on its trim to keep it waterproof. And that's the whole point of the system that we use when we're waterproofing a window. We don't want the trim to be used as a waterproofing agent for the window. So what we've done here is we've got our window installed, and you can see, probably just barely make out on the camera here, that we've got this GeoCell caulking here. And basically what it is a super clear, super tough adhesive silicone is what it is. And it's got a great smell to it. We love this stuff. Not quite the chocolate flavor we're used to with other ones, but it works great. It's all sealed in behind this flange, and you can see this flange goes all the way around. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to now put a piece of this material, this bitchathane, on top of this, a small piece, just as a little added protection, just to make me feel good. Piece at the top, and then we're going to pop our 3 pieces of trim on and then put our sill on, and then we'll come back in and we'll replace the 1 piece of siding that's going to obviously run short. So there we go. All right, here we are at our window replacement and skylight replacement job, and we just finished up. We just pulled our scaffolding out here behind me. Now you can see this window is in. It's all trimmed out. It's ready for our painter to come in. And what we've done is we've caulked as much of it in as we possibly could. Try to make it as easy for the painter to just come in, putty his holes, let that dry. He'll sand that off, sand his corners, and really he could just put a coat of finish, a couple coats of finish on. He's got a sill to prime. The siding that we've used is pre-primed siding, and we selected a piece that most closely matched the old existing material. The old material was an unprimed material, and it wasn't really necessary for it to be primed because this is a solid stain on here, so you don't really have to use primed material. You can, but if you do, you usually have to do a couple coats to get over that primer. But we prefer to use, as much as possible, pre-primed material. So we are all finished, and you can see this window size now matches the existing window size of the newer area there. And then the older windows, they were a little bit taller. So this now matches that size. This was a stock size, and obviously, as I explained earlier in the video, it allowed for us to get in and get the project done in a reasonable amount of time and for a reasonable amount of money. So the difference between this unit and all the rest of the units in the house is this is actually a clad unit. This will never rot or crack or split. They'll never have to do anything to it other than just let it sit there and be beautiful. We showed you what the inside looked like. That's all finished up, and skylights are also done, and the painter will have a very minimal amount of work to do in there. He'll need to just bring in a tall step ladder, and then he'll go around and he'll cut out the original caulking that was up there. He can run a new bead of caulking, and then he'll be able to hit the ceiling, the pocket inside the ceiling there, right up against it. And those skylights were also finished inside, as was. This has finished coat of paint on the inside as well, but they'll probably want to match the paint to the trim color. And that's it for this renovation. We'll see you next time.